And that is one fundamental of case B to build any shape. Second fundamental is to have same shape in any condition. So whatever volatility currency pair has and whatever time frame you use, you can find same shape everywhere. And how we achieve that? By using average value and comparing candles to this value. Average value represents average true range of any chosen candlesticks. Let's look at next example. Imagine that average value of past 100 candlesticks at certain moment is equal to this candle. Then the next step is the same as before, setting candle direction, which can be in three ways. Third step is also same as before, deciding body value range. Now it's time for candle's body to be set. We compare its value to this average. Thing is that we don't know what is actual size of the average, so we can only estimate, but we can determine what is big or small candle. If average counts body and wicks, then when building just body, we can assume that bigger than 100% is big body. And such input would look like this. Time to build such body. I will mark chosen settings with yellow. On the left, you can see average candle for reference. In reality, you can't see such candle, so I will use it for easier explanation. Now we have bullish body which is greater than average value. That means that our range is any value beyond the dotted line. What could happen if we would change size of average sample from 100 candles to 50 candles? Size of average value would most probably change. For this example, let's say it would get lower. And let's also change direction and decision. In this case, our range would be any value below dot line, which represents 100% of average value. What if we change body size comparison instead of 100% to 50% of average? As you can see in all these examples, mechanism of body direction and decision is the same as for case A. After greater and less, we can take a look at between option. Now we use two dot lines for value range. Upper line represents edge of 200% average value and lower line is equal to 50% of average. Second option is average, which can be tied to all bodies and wicks. It can be inserted in the row below points. Value represents number of candlesticks that are taken for average calculation. For explanation of average, I will use last candle before our first candle that we used for case A. What is average? It is average true range value of past candlesticks. Average true range is difference between high and low of the candle. So for average is also important how many candles we take into the calculation. Here is example of calculation for 4 candles. Let's see how average is applied for our first candle. First example. Average is set to 1. That means that only last candle before our first candle in pattern is taken for average calculation. Average for this one candle we already calculated. But another way, which is more useful when having more than one candle, is applying average through range indicator. Go to Insert, then Indicators, and then you can choose Average through range. If you want average for one candle, then input number 1. Now we need to read the value under last candle of our measured average. That means we read value under blue marked candle. By the way, I clicked middle mouse. With red I marked how you can read value by pointing cursor on blue line. That is the line of the indicator. With blue I marked how you can read value by moving cursor and using middle mouse button. As you can see it, average value is around 60 points. This indicator does round the number. 62 is exact value. Now you know how to check average through range. So let's look at another example of past 10 candles. Now insert number 10 in the indicator period field. I will just delete previous one. And now point with mouse under last candle of past 10 candles, that is also last candle before our first candle in the pattern. Value that we get is around 140 points. Actually it says 14, but that means 14 pips. But to get more general value, I will take longer average period with past 100 candles average value. Confirm settings. Delete previous indicator window. Insert average through range indicator. And set period to 100. Move mouse cursor under last candle of that 100 average period. And finally, we can read average value of 8 pips, which is 80 points. That's it for average. It's time to build candle. Open indicator properties and scroll down to first candle case B settings. We choose average and 100 candles for average. For direction, we choose bearish. It is explained at case A. Body of the candle represents 30% of the average. Because 1 represents 100%, we insert 0.3 to get 30%. We could use many combinations, like greater than 0, but maximum is 0.3. That means 30%. Next option that we can use is less. Minimum value to find our body is less than 0.4. And last option is between. Strict combination. Between 30% and 40%. Half strict combination, between 0% and 40%. Opposite half combination, between 30% and 10,000%. Area value combination, between 0% and 10,000%.